So this happened when I was about 9 or 10. I was walking my dog and looking for some wood, which sounds weird, but I wanted to build a treehouse, and my dad didn't want to buy wood, so he sent me to look for some, as I was a gullible child. At the end of my street, I spot a house with some planks of wood next to the garbage can, getting rid of them. Obviously they're not that big, and there's about 3 of them, but I was able to hold them and my dog's leash. So I'm still walking home, and it's been about 5 minutes. I'm pretty content with my find, and I'm about 3 houses away from mine. Suddenly, I see a red, kind of rusty truck turning down my street. I'm not scared at this point because, cars on the street are normal, after all. But he stopped right next to me. That wood looks pretty heavy. Why don't I give you a lift home? Now I'm scared. I reply nicely and told him I'm good, but he insists, and I keep walking. But he's clearly not giving up. He puts his car in reverse and keeps following me, insisting he gives me a ride. This continues for about 3 minutes, the longest 3 minutes of my life. He tried opening the door and whistled at my dog, as if he'd just suddenly jump in. He even asked what his name was, and trying to call him into the car after I tell him. He's a sweet-looking dog, so he's clearly not intimidated by him. At this point, I walked past my house, and we're getting close to the end of the road. Out of nowhere, he just puts it in drive and peels off. I walk around for another 10 minutes just to make sure he doesn't know where I live. So guy with the weird rusty truck, let's not meet. My mom was out shopping with me. She had to get something really quick, and I wasn't hot, so she locked the car, cracked the windows, and left me with our German Shepherd / Australian cattle dog mix, Bear. Bear was the sweetest dog ever. My ride until I was 2, and my protective cuddly pillow until I was 12. She was asleep in my lap when she suddenly sat up straight. That's when I realized that a man was near the car. The windows was cracked enough that he could reach in. He put his hand in, trying to grab the lock and unlock the door. I guess it was at an angle where he could see me, or our windows were tinted, so yeah, but the front windows you could see out of. We probably didn't see Bear until it was too late. Anyways, he put his hand in, and Bear, our sweet loving dog, just bit him directly on the hand hard enough. I think she broke a few fingers. He took his hand out and ran off. Bear then sat on me protectively and refused to budge until Mom got back. My mom flipped when I told her, hugging me, kissed me, and we hurried home, stopping by Jack in the Box to get Bear some well-deserved hamburger patties. Sorry if not very detailed. Some things are hazy as I was 6. I have a few more stories as I matured earlier and got targeted. Bear passed away on Christmas Day 2012. She was the greatest dog, and she saved my life. This was about 6 years ago. It was summertime, and being that there was not a lot to do in my town, my friends and I spent most days getting dropped off at the mall to just walk around. In the mall, we were at there is a two-way walkway that is split in certain areas by holes in the floor. They are surrounded by glass barriers and railings, so basically, if you're on the second floor, you can look over to the railing to the first floor. On this particular day, we had been at the mall for a few hours, and we were walking past a few stores on the second floor. That's when we realized that there are about 6 really tall, and I'm pretty tall, so they must have been like 6'2" or to 6'5". Anyways, 6 really tall guys standing against the railing staring at us. We think it's a little strange, but we decided to go into the store and not worry about it. We were still freaking out. Unfortunately, the store right next to where we were had an all-glass front, so they could still see us, and we could tell they were watching. We decided to leave the store and go into a different one because this was just too freaky. We tried another store, on the other side of the walkway down a little ways, and that's when it got really scary. The shortest guy of the group would walk into the store we were in and stand at the door. That way, he would know when we left. Again, we thought maybe this was a coincidence, so we decided to go from one store to the store, and he followed us. Each time, standing right by the front of the store waiting for us. At this point, the details get blurry mostly because I was having a panic attack, I think. We went down the escalators and started calling our moms to pick us up. One of my friends suggested we go on a long corridor in the other girl's bathroom, to which I was like, no. They're not going to stay out just because it's the girl's bathroom. I can't remember if they were still following us at this point, but finally we went outside and got picked up. I remember feeling that. I just wanted to be outside and away from being watched. This was about 3 years ago. 3 friends and I were looking to rent a nice, affordable home for us to live in for the next couple of years. We were 23 at the time. While we could have saved up money, we met a landlord over at this place. We check it out and are informed that a man also rents the basement. The basement and the main floor are created into 2 separate areas. There was also a garage and a shed that both were owned by the men who owned the basement. Or so we thought. We were well liked in our area, so we always had friends over partying on the daily. Everything was going fine. But a few weeks pass, and we start noticing strange things, like doors being unlocked and things not being where we left them, but I still thought it was just one of the roommates being forgetful. One night, we have a bonfire and have a few people over and are staring at the shed. Our friend asks what we have in there. I reply that I wasn't sure, and it wasn't ours, but my friend insists we check it out. 3 of us walk over and try opening the door, but it was locked. But I felt like there was some pressure holding it shut. I started kicking it right by the knob, and sure enough, it gave out and we got in. It smelled terrible, like drugs, shit, and urine, and we couldn't see anything because it was night and very dark. We go back into the house to get a flashlight when we returned to find a mattress with about 52 2-liter Mountain Dew bottles filled with piss by it. A computer with a monitor and cords running through it. Then I see light seeping through the hole in the wall that shows our driveway when I notice another face by the fire pit. So we take the monitor and the hard drive out and bring them into our house. We have a friend who is an amazing hacker that we had come over to see what was on the computer. We found pictures of us, pictures of our friend's girlfriend tanning in the yard, pictures of our cars in the driveway. He had porn with titles that made him sound like a pedophile. We don't know because we didn't want to watch. However, this guy knew every move and was very creepy. We call the landlord and start yelling at him and explain the whole situation and ended with me saying I was just going to move out. The next day, a man bikes up to the door asking for his computer back. We had half a hand and looked to be strung out on drugs. I assume meth, by what we found in the shed. My friend started yelling at him and started freaking out at him and told him we hacked into his pictures and saw everything. Right when the guy realized we had saw the pictures of us and everything, he ran to his bike and rode faster than we could figure out where he went. I moved out 2 or 3 days later from paranoia of this one-handed meth head coming back to do something crazy and realizing that this crazy individual was going through our house and belongings while we were gone almost every day and always watching us. Never seen or heard about him again. And if you rent from a landlord, investigate what's on your property because you never know what you might find. Meth head, shed, creep. Let's not meet.